Bang Dream Ave Mujica is the most underrated anime of the season. Bang Dream is a game developed by Bushiroad, but I'm not here to talk about the entire Bang Dream franchise, but I'm going to talk about its latest anime installment, Bang Dream Ave Mujica. But before I talk about Ave Mujica, it's a sequel to Bang Dream, it's MyGO, so I'll summarize that first.
It's my fucking jam!
But before I do, please subscribe cause it'd really help me a lot. Just before I continue, spoiler alert for those who would care. Bang Dream It's MyGO follows Anan Chihaya, a girl who transfers into Hanyika girls' school at an unusual time, and she goes on to form a band with 4 other girls. Tamori is the lead singer, who plays the role of Bauchi in this anime. Soyo is the kind immature type bass player. Rana is the lead guitar. She's a stray cat who comes to practice or to play anytime she feels like it. And Taki is the sun drummer, who basically gets shocked every 5 seconds.
私がいなくてもできたでしょ。はあ？私はバンド誘っただけだし。は？私はいつもの。は？どうして？は？私大変感銘を受けましたの。ふーん。夢中になりすぎて。
And of course Anan, who is the leader, is the rhythm guitarist but can't actually play the guitar. But after she forms the band, you've already realized that most of the band members already have history with each other. The thing is, they've already been in a band together, a band called Cry Chic, until their band leader suddenly decides to quit the band she created for her own personal reasons, and that causes conflict and the band breaks up, with none of them ever being able to forget the time they spent in Cry Chic. So Anan and Rana feel a little disconnected from the band, well Anan does, but Rana is just carefree and clueless about everything most of the time, yes, just like a cat. But it's not just the former members of Cry Chic that have issues. Anan herself has her own personal problems and issues, and being in this band made her face them. The band starts off a bit rough and they were lacking in a lot of ways. Even their debut was a mess. They weren't in sync at all and their lead singer was basically whispering on stage. But eventually they lock in and finally match each other's rhythm. But then after the concert, one of the band members, Soyo, snaps and says hurtful words to them, causing the band members to break up. She was incredibly selfish and manipulative, but they forgave her and eventually they get back together in an incredible anime episode that legitimately made me tear up. The core of the series is drama and the music is beautiful and emotional. They don't play music because they are particularly great at it, but because they do it for fun. But in Ave Mujica, we discover the girl who caused their former band to break up, Saki, was forming another band behind the scenes, this time one with selected people of considerable status. One of the previous band members, Mutsumi the guitarist who has a coup de rey personality, Wika the lead singer from a popular idol duo group Sumami, Umiri the bassist from a band called Disruption, Nyama the drummer who's an influencer on social media, and Saki the leader is the keyboardist. This band in particular is completely different. The genre in music is different and it's actually also a play with its own lore. The style is different and unlike MyGO, which is about playing for fun and friendship, this band is about money and numbers. But they actually play better than MyGO. I mean, just look at this sequence. After seeing Saki abandon her former band members and reject them over and over again, we go on to see her form a new band and it actually looks like she cares for them and does her best to manage everything. But we also see the reason why Saki ended Cry Chic. Her father is a terrible person. He was literally a completely immovable obstacle on her life. He drinks a lot and gets worse by the day. With Saki having to fend for herself and her father as well, she quits the band. And in contrast to that cold expression she wore, in reality she was completely heartbroken. The main characters in MyGO are still present in Ave Mujica but aren't the main characters this time. This time it focuses on the band members in Ave Mujica. When they go on stage, they wear a mask to hide their identity, which upsets the drummer since she is an influencer. She is basically playing the numbers game. Saki tries to calm Nyama down, saying they'll unmask themselves at the right moment at the very peak of their popularity. But sooner than you'd think, the drummer snaps and just unmasks everyone selfishly, and this greatly affects the band members. Yes, they got more popular but not all of them were okay with this sudden development, especially Mutsumi. You see, Mutsumi has been overshadowed all her life because of her parents' popularity, the mother being an actress and the father a popular comedian. She's not very confident in herself, and she doesn't get praises when she does anything good. Instead it goes to her parents, making her extremely antisocial. She is mute 99% of the time, up until something happens, something very dark and disturbing. Now that they've become popular, that means they'd be getting a lot of interviews, but Mutsumi always fumbles and ruins it. Even when she tries to speak up, she said something weird like, the band wouldn't last long. Even on stage she breaks down completely, and causes Saki to make up some weird plotline in the play, saying the doll went to sleep, continuously fumbling, and Saki, who has to manage everything, began taking up a lot of the burden, which causes her to eventually lash out on Mutsumi, and that's when things get dark. For some reason, Mutsumi's personality gets deleted and is replaced by a new one, Mortis. This quite literally shocks the band cause she is now talkative and literally carries the spotlight with her, brilliantly performing every chance she got. But there's a problem. This personality doesn't know how to play the guitar, and they were literally on a live tour. So this was the trigger that made the band finally part ways, and they did it on stage and on their live tour. Of course, this shattered Mutsumi completely.
人形たちはもういない。私はここにいるじゃない。今宵のマスカレードをもって言わないで。アベムジカの終幕とさせていただきます。
Soon after, things get more complicated as Saki abandons Wika, who up until this point let her live in her house. Saki tries her best to forget everything and go stay with her rich grandfather again, and Mutsumi gets worse as she isolated herself in her room, and Soil from MyGO, who was also her previous band member in Cry Chic, was staying by her side watching over her. Soon after, the band MyGO finds out about this and they witness their old friend tearing themselves apart from the inside.
ムツミちゃん追い詰めて壊したのサキコちゃんなんだよ。サキにあんな顔させたくなかった。だから私が代わりに。どうして壊したの？ムツミちゃんが会いたくてもサキコちゃんは違う。クライシックは壊れたから。アベムジカの嘘。ムツミちゃんちゃんとやりたかった。ムツミちゃんじゃない。だって一度も会いに来なかったんだよ。もうムジカしか。
Which was a very disturbing scene, by the way, and they tried to reunite her with Saki, the very person who triggered the change in Mutsumi, in hopes of fixing her, but this personality hates Saki, which complicates things more. The band gets Saki to shape up by playing as Cry Chic for the last time, which makes Saki determined to get Mutsumi back, and eventually Mutsumi's personality returns, but not entirely, because the other personality is still there. The anime is genuinely really good with how it handles the drama, and the psychological horror-like scenes, and most of the time the music is pushed aside to focus rather on the characters themselves, which I really respect about the series. It's easily one of my favorite shows this season. Currently we're at episode 9, with Mutsumi's mother telling the drummer who developed an inferiority complex to Mutsumi, about how she feels miserable when she's with her daughter because Mutsumi has been a natural-born actress, who's been playing the role since childhood, and Mutsumi is currently trying to reform Cry Chic and fights with her other personality Mortis. But this time the real Mutsumi actually dies. The other personality is supposed to protect Mutsumi but accidentally kills her, and that personality tries to act like the real Mutsumi, and that entire scene made the drummer utterly disgusted. Also, I never knew Wika was a yandere until this episode. Overall, it's a great show, and I would seriously love to see Ave Mujica in the game as well, just remembering they reference a lot of other bands like Rosalia, Afterglow, and Morphonica. Anyways, watch Bang Dream Ave Mujica if you haven't, and please subscribe to my channel. I put out shorts for recommendations daily, and I'd also appreciate it if you like the video as well. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.